Good evening, Dinesh sir.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Sarita ma'am, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, and Viju
Good
sir
evening,
and
Dinesh, sir.
Arun Mohan sir, shall we go?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Please.
Good evening to all. Good evening, Sarita ma'am, Dinesh sir. Everyone, let's turn on Jarvis to invite our moderator of the day. So let's see what Jarvis has today for us. So turning on Jarvis.
Myself, it's Jarvis. Must have heard the name. Good evening to all the exuberant educators. I welcome you all to the 168th web training series of BTAG in association with CBSE Bharat Sahodaya. Before welcoming the moderator, let me present my new 2 AI. Firstly, it's Friday, female replacement intelligent digital assistant youth. And secondly, it's Edith, even dead, I'm the hero. So these two ladies are going to assist you in a better way.
Excuse me. The Red Queen is always the best. Maybe you can say, better than the best?
Okay, whatever. Now let me hand over to these two ladies.
Now I, Edith, take it as pleasure to introduce today's moderator, Ms. Saritha Warrior. She has completed her post-graduation in economics from the prestigious Fergusson College, Pune. She has done her B.Ed in English and Economics. Presently working as high school teacher at Nalanda Public School, Mumbai for the past 15 years, where she teaches English, Economics, and Financial Markets Management. She is an avid reader, an amateur poet, and script writer who trains students for inter-school competitions.
She strongly believes that education is not merely a profession but a true vocation that entails continuous hard work towards achieving excellence in one's students. She has rendered her services to CBSE Bharat Sahodaya as moderator in a number of sessions. She is associated with BTAG as the chief editor of the Transformers e-magazine. So I Friday cordially invite you to take over this grand session. Over to you, ma'am.
Sarita ma'am, warm welcome. Yes, you are.
Thank you so much, Mr. Arun. Is there an echo in the voice?
Yes, ma'am.
What do we do? Hello?
Now you're
Is
all
it
right.
that?
ma'am. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Mr. Arun Mohan, as usual, you floor us with your creativity as always. Thank you so much. And I'm glad to meet Friday and Edith. Thank you so much, all of you. Good evening. Well, let's begin. Welcome, one and all, to the 168th web training session that is being conducted today by BTAG in collaboration with CBSE Bharat Sahodaya. With the NEP 2020 being implemented in our education system, teaching and learning methodology, evaluation, and assessment are all set for new changes and novel practices. Assessment is one of the most basic foundations of education, and the 360-degree assessment, as recommended by NEP 2020, requires the help of the most appropriate rubrics for a holistic assessment so that we achieve all the goals as envisaged by the policy. A rubric is an explicit set of criteria used for assessing a particular type of work or performance and provides more details than a single grade or mark. Rubrics thus help us teachers grade more objectively and effectively. Creating a good rubric requires a lot of thought and deliberation. It is only when we design them with precision and careful consideration that we will be able to achieve the desired learning outcomes. As teachers, we should be able to judge the strengths and the weaknesses of our students appropriately and design assessments as well as the rubrics for the same so that we can help them in the best possible ways. Keeping these points in mind, today, we at BTAG are here before you all with a supremely talented and knowledgeable resource person, Dr. Dinesh Babu, who will throw more light on this topic and guide all of us in effectively planning and designing assessment rubrics that are in line with the NEP 2020 and its goals. Good evening, Dr. Dinesh, sir. As we move on to the next segment of our session today, our participants are requested to pay attention to the following set of instructions for the smooth conduct of the program. Kindly be visible and keep your mics on mute. If you have any queries, you are requested to please post them on the chat box. Dr. Dinesh Babu will be addressing those. We also have a dedicated question and answer session at the end in case you wish for more clarification. Kindly note that the certificate and the feedback link will be shared towards the end of the session. A humble request to all of you to stay connected till the end. Thank you. Our program director, Dr. Abdul Salam, is a source of inspiration and guidance for all of us here. And over the past 3 years, his tremendous efforts in bringing thousands of educators together on a single platform have borne fruit. Dr. Salam is presently working as NABED, that is, National Accreditation Board for Education and Training, Government of India Assessor. He is the former principal of the Oxford School Trivandrum. He is the founder and CEO of BTAG, Bharat Transformers Academy Group, a consortium of teachers across the country and abroad, all working together for achieving educational excellence in our country. He's a CBSE resource person and master trainer, and the CBSE Deputy Training Coordinator, Trivandrum Region. Dr. Salam is also the director of N Creators Software and Media Private Limited and the patron of Bharat Sahodaya. I extend a very warm welcome to you, sir, and request you to deliver the welcome address. Over to you, Salam, sir.
Good evening, Miss Sarida. We have a problem. The resource person we got disconnected. So Arun Mohan sir, please stop the live. We have to restart it.
Where we were to have started with your address. Should we start with the introduction once again?
No. Thank you, Sarida ma'am, and good evening, everybody. Sorry for the inconvenience. Maybe, somebody might not have, been able to join again. It will be live very soon. You can join. You can tell your friends to join YouTube, and always, we request everybody to subscribe the channel so that the notification comes to you automatically. So there is no worry that you are not able to enter the room. Anyway, thank you so much, Dinesh sir. Good evening to Dinesh sir and Biju sir, each and everyone. Thank you so much for joining, and the introduction is given. Only one thing is very sure, everybody is looking forward to the 360-degree holistic progress card, and we are pretty sure that this 360-degree assessment will take place with the help of rubrics. So we have got an opportunity to listen to Dinesh Babu sir to to get more guidelines on how to make rubrics. A very good rubric for 360-degree holistic assessment. So Dinesh sir, very nice to see you after a long break.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Over to Sarida. Yeah.
Shall I start?
Just a minute. I'm so sorry. We'll have to introduce you. We can't go ahead without introducing you, right? So please bear with us. Thank you. I would now like to welcome Mr. Biju S. Pillai to the session. Mr. Biju is presently the principal of Gokulam Public School, Trivandrum. He has served in the educational sector for many years. Thank you, Biju sir, for joining us today. Could you please address us?
Good evening, Sarida ma'am.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hearty welcome to the 168th web series program conducted by BTAG. And today I'm extremely happy to see our mass marketing and all. But later on, ATM card came, and even now the situation has come like we don't even need the ATM card. If we have the mobile, that mobile banking will do the business. The same way, day by day, the technology is improving the education sector also, where Salam sir is bringing AI every day, and every day we can see some new faces also. Now I am quite difficult, or I am doubtful whether the master trainers also will be made into AI, so that the complete session will be handled by the artificial intelligence. So definitely the doctors, lawyers, all are in a panic situation that after 10 years, a drastic change will be coming. Anyway, hearty welcome to Dr. Dinesh Babu sir, to the 168 rubrics progress report. And we all are having some sort of doubts also relating to the NEP rubrics preparing and all. So it will be a very good section, and we all are expecting your valuable sessions to happen at the earliest, so that our doubts will be cleared to a large extent. So once again, good evening to all, and thank you, Sardar ma'am, that's the session.
Thank you, Biju sir. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, now let us put our hands together to welcome a resource person for the evening, Dr. M. Dinesh Babu. He is the principal, CSM Central School, Thrissur, and master trainer, CBSE COE. He is also one of the star resource persons of CBSE Bharat Sahodaya. Dr. Dinesh has been instrumental in setting up and scaling the academic curriculum and training programs of many leading schools. He is the go-to person when it comes to different modes of assessment, teaching techniques, and classroom management, and is also an expert on NEP 2020 and its focus on 21st century skills and experiential learning. He has conducted training sessions on a host of topics, namely competency-based education, modes of assessment, outcome-based learning, 21st century skills, annual pedagogical plan, Bloom's taxonomy and lesson planning, 21st century pedagogical approaches and case-based questions, SAFL, to name a few. He is also a consultant working with multiple associations and holds leadership positions in the Sahodaya School Complex, Thrissur, and is the CBSE City Coordinator of Thrissur. On behalf of all of us at BTAG and Bharat Sahodaya, sir, we welcome you to this session. Over to you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sarita ma'am. Thank you very much. Good evening, Abdul Salam sir, Biju sir, and ladies and gentlemen. It is nice to be back again with Bharat Sahodaya. I'll start with my sharing of my screen now. Shall I share my screen now?
Yes, sir, please.
Is it visible?
Yes, sir, it is.
So our today's topic is making assessment rubrics. So these are the learning outcomes. This is the buzzword for all of us now, learning outcomes. Today, participants will be able to learn the purpose of assessment, learn the modes of assessment, and learn how to prepare criteria, and of course, learn how to make rubrics. I'll start with a question, and what I will request all the participants, let's make the session as interactive as possible. I'm not going to use any of the extra tools. However, the chat box, please use the chat box. And I start with a question. Can you please tell what the purpose of assessment? A question might have been asked many a time, still were to be asked. What's the purpose of assessment? I'm looking at the chat box. At least a few responses.
Participants are requested to please type their opinions about assessment to check whether learning outcomes are met.
Yeah.
The reflection of the students.
Good to know the students' performance, identify the gaps. Bilji says to know their learning. That is what Sakitya says. Swapna says to evaluate. to improve quality of teaching and learning. Excellent. To assess, to know much. Very good, very good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. To know how much of the student, that's what Vani says. Check whether learning has happened. Excellent, excellent. You are all learned teachers with me today. Anyway, I will see. I start with this first of the purposes. That is, it's an opportunity to demonstrate the learning. Very important. Okay, students get an opportunity when we go for an assessment. They get an opportunity to demonstrate the learning. And as you have already said, to check the learning of the student and to find if the learning outcomes have been achieved. Most of the participants have already written this answer. And to find the learning gap. This is very, very important. What do you mean by learning gap? Can anybody say what is that learning gap? What is that learning gap?
Sir, I believe it is where the students are not achieve what they are supposed to achieve at a particular grade level, where there is a gap, where there is a delay or a breakage.
Exactly, ma'am. Exactly, ma'am. The gap is nothing but that. Because we have already stated the amount, learning outcome, formulated the learning outcomes, and every learner is supposed to attain it. And through an assessment, we check whether this learning outcome has been achieved. Then after an assessment, we find every learner is unable to achieve the learning outcomes. That means there is a gap. And if you ask me, the real purpose of assessment is nothing but this is what the most important. Because to find out the gap, what's the purpose of finding out the gap? After finding out the gap, you can initiate remedial or enrichment teaching. Okay, that is remedial teaching. It's not reteaching as some of us thought. After finding out the gap, we find out the root cause of the gap, and accordingly, we make tailor-made approaches in remedial teaching. So these are the purpose of assessment. Of course, I'm not going to that depth to this point because our main topic is today how to make rubrics. But to start with, these are very, very important, the purpose of assessment. So let's move to the modes of assessment test. These are the modes of assessment. That is, they are assessment for learning, assessment of learning, assessment as learning. All of you know it, I'm sure. Still, I will just refresh those things because we need to connect with these things. What is assessment for learning? It's a part of everyday teaching practice. Okay, other words you can say it's an assessment at the time of learning. Simultaneously, students are assessed. For example, when they do an activity, teachers assess them with criterion rubrics. We'll come to that point. What are criterion rubrics? And what's in other words, they are formative assessments. Assessment for learning, one of the modes. Maybe when NEP is implement letter and spirit, we will give more importance to formative assessment. Why? Because we assess a child while learning. The advantage is this: you can correct, you can build the gap then and there. And so it helps teachers to decide what they should do next and how to move ahead in learning. Of course, getting immediate feedback. As Anita Das said, absolutely, we get immediate feedback. An assessment of learning is an assessment done at the end of teaching and learning process. Evaluate students' achievement, considered to be more of a product. In other words, they are summative assessments. So, in other words, you can say when cook tastes food, that is formative assessment. What's the advantage of cook tasting food? Definitely the necessary corrections, that can be made in between. Whatever the alterations are required, that can be done by the cook. But when guest tastes the food, he or she can only give an opinion. It's good, it is nice, it should have been in this way, that way. You have no time for correction. So that's the advantage of assessment for learning. There you get enough time for bridging the gap. Whereas in assessment of learning, we test the product. We test the product. But of course, we use different tools for that one. different levels of questions are framed for that one. It's also equally important, but which will be more beneficial for learners, that is assessment for learning. But of course, assessment of learning and assessment for learning, it both of it got its own characteristics. I hope this point is very clear to you. Look now, next is assessment as learning. In other words, these are the assessment done by learners themselves. The assessment takes place in students' learning process. All assessments are taken place during the learning process only to monitor the learning process, no doubt. But look at the last point, very, very important. The purpose is to improve students' learning by reflection. We make every learner to reflect, maybe after an assessment or after doing a particular activity. We make them to reflect whether the learning outcomes have been achieved, and whether the achieved learning outcomes, how they are going to apply in their real life. In case if they are unable to achieve a few of the learning outcomes, what could be the reason for that one? Reflecting them and making them to find out the cause of that gap, then making them to learn again. So assessment as learning is also a very important mode of assessment. So this is just to start with, because assessment, we have three modes. Assessment for learning is an assessment which is done simultaneously by learning, and assessment of learning, the product is tested or assessed, and assessment as learning, here learners assess themselves. So these are the three modes of assessment. Now I hope you understood what is the purpose, or what are the purposes of assessments, and what are the different modes of assessment. Now we'll go to our topic. Look now, let's start with criteria. Okay, what is criteria? A criteria refers to the standard or benchmarks used to evaluate students. As we stated earlier, we need to assess students. The purpose is to find out the learning gap. Or in other words, you can say we need to make sure the learning outcomes have been achieved by our learners. But these are always aligned with the learning outcomes. Okay, I mean criteria are always aligned with learning outcomes. So while assessing, we must have some standards and benchmarks. Based on that, we assess. So these benchmarks are called criteria. Criteria establish clear standard of achievement for each learning outcome. I will explain all those things with example. Okay, please bear with me for another 5-10 minutes, then we'll go with examples. Criteria help learners to know what they are expected to demonstrate. Key point. Once criteria are discussed and shared with learners, they know what they are expected to demonstrate during an assessment. Criteria help teachers to identify weak areas and take timely actions to improve students' performance. They enable to determine how well students have mastered the learning outcomes. Now look, I start with an example from real life. Okay. See, today morning, when I got up at 6 o'clock, my wife gave me a glass of tea. Okay. And immediately I gave her a remark, what kind of tea you have given me? Horrible. I don't want this. You give me another tea. See, look, do you think that she will prepare a good tea and give me? Hello?
Sir, very unlikely, sir.
Very unlikely. Why? Why? There could be two reasons. Okay, there could be two reasons. The tea was not expected as, okay, as expected. The reasons, the reason, she didn't make a proper tea for me. Why did it happen? Why did it happen? There could be many reasons. But the main reason, I tell you, one of the reasons could be, I might have not told her earlier what is a real tea for me, what is a good tea for me, or what are the characteristic or of a good tea for me? Or in other words, what are the criteria of a good tea for me? Right? Look now, when we prepare tea, what are the criteria we look at it? Can anybody say what could be the best criteria of a tea?
The taste, sweetness, color, flavor.
Yeah. Okay, decoration, taste, light or strong, very good. How much milk? Very good. Strong, flavor. Puja says proper amount of tea and sugar. Very good, very good. Now, look, I tell you, I should have given the criteria of my tea to her. That let's see now. For me, I want 100°C tea, hot. So what is my first criteria? That is hot. Right? I want real hot tea, not warm tea, hot tea, 100°C tea. First criteria. Second one, as you have told, how strong it should be. How strong it should be. So I want a very strong tea. If I say like this, strong tea, that is subjective. It is there. I am not specific there. I am not specific there. So I need to explain what is strong for me. Okay, if I think about strong, then I need to talk about the quantity also, no? Then only I can give a specific answer to that. So let that be the second criteria in that case. Okay, let quantity be the second criteria in that case. Quantity, okay, I need 200 ml tea, very specific now. I need 200 ml tea. Then somebody was clearly giving me, rightly giving the answer, the proportion, the combination, proportion, okay, of milk and water. So I want 200 ml tea, that is quantity. In that one, next criteria I am making, that is proportion, 100 ml water, 100 ml milk. Are you getting my point? Look now, what is it for my tea? I'm making my tea. The criteria are, the first one, I want hot tea, that is 100°C tea. And second one is the quantity. I want 200 ml tea. And third one, proportion, that is third of the criteria, that is proportion. That is 50-50, 50% milk, 50% water. That means 100 ml milk, 100 ml water. And the fourth one, the fourth one, I was talking about strong. How strong the tea should be. That is, you can say, I need to be very specific here. If you use maybe Taj Mahal bag, a tea bag, I want 2 bags for 200 ml. Okay, I am very specific for 200 ml, right? Or maybe if you use the tea leaves, okay, maybe another brand, Tata tea. I want one teaspoon for that one. That must be a strong tea I want. So I have made now 4 criteria. Okay. Then one more, of course, that is sweetness. Sugar. How much sugar? Maybe one tablespoon sugar I want for 200 ml. So now I have defined the criteria for my tea. I hope you are able to follow me now. Look, these are the 5 criteria. 5 point scale, you can say. 5 criteria. 5, not point scale, that is 5 criteria. First one, strong. Sorry, the hot. Second one, quantity. Third one, proportion. Okay, the fourth one, can you tell? Hot. And the fifth one, of course, sweetness. So these are the 5 criteria I have made. Now look. She brought a tea in the morning, right? I should have given a proper feedback to her. Where did it go wrong? I just made a generalized feedback. Okay, our assessment was making tea. And that tea should have been assessed based on these 5 criteria. But what was my remark? I just gave a very rude and plain remark. Tea was not good. Absolutely not the right way of doing it. Because in two ways I failed. Number one, I didn't give the criteria of my tea. Number two, the feedback was not specific at all. That means you are not giving any room for improvement there. I hope you are getting something now. What is criteria? Yes, of course, Meenakshi ji, define what you want, how you want. The same thing we need to do in the classroom. Look now. What do you mean by rubrics? Rubrics outline the different levels of performance, allowing the teachers to provide detailed feedback and assign appropriate grades. Rubrics helps to clarify the criteria and expectations for the assignment. Rubric enable fair and consistent marking as rubrics outline the marking criteria clearly. Now it is not exactly the rules. I'll come back to the again with T. Look now. Morning, okay. 25 marks for making tea. Okay. Yes, we need to disclose. Yes, we need to disclose it. See, 25 marks for making tea. We have 5 criteria, and each criterion can be given 5 marks each. 5 into 5, 25. So what was our first criterion making tea? That was hot. Okay, hot. Look now, I should have given 5 out of 5 had the tea got 100 degrees Celsius. I mean temperature. Real hot tea. Means I would give, what is my the rubrics for giving awarding 5 marks for the criterion hot 100 degrees Celsius. Are you getting me? Then if it is warm tea, maybe 80 degrees Celsius, I will give only 4 marks. If it is 60 degree, I will give only 3 marks. If it is 40 degree, I will give only 2 marks. So these are rubrics. Okay, these are rubrics. Clear? Now they come to the next point. That is about quantity. What? Okay. Well, see, I told I need 200 ml. Okay, I need 200 ml. Then if she brings maybe 20 or 10% plus or minus. It could be 220 ml or it could be 180 ml. Then I will give only the 4 marks. If it is exactly 200, I will give 5 marks. Okay. So these are what is the rubrics. Allowing the teachers to provide detailed feedback. Number 1, outline the different levels. What is 5 marks? What is 4 marks? What is 3 marks? Okay, what is excellent? What is very good? What is good? What is average? What is poor? So we explain these things as descriptors. These are rubrics. Clear now? See, then when I give feedback, that's not one. I have not explained all the criteria of T. I hope you understood what I wanted to communicate with you, right? Okay, so this will allow when we give feedback, specific feedback. We normally give feedback like this. Your student is okay. You need to be careful next time. He needs to improve mathematics or he needs to improve English. This is not a right feedback. When you give feedback, if you assess it with rubrics, you can pinpointedly, you can say, as I said, tea, it is only 60 degree. That means when you make tea next time, it must be 100 degree. This is what I want. This is proper feedback, specific feedback. And before the performance, before the assessment, we share this with our students. Okay? We share this criteria and rubrics with our students so that they know they are going to be assessed on these parameters. They are aware of it. And when you evaluate, it could be, we could use the criteria and rubrics even for an assessment for learning, even for assessment of learning also. I give example, specific example for everything. I hope this point is very clear to you know what is criteria, okay, or what are criteria and how rubrics are made. Any doubt in this one? Now, okay, now let's see. I'll start with a very common topic which all of us know, irrespective of our subject. See, in third or fourth grade, we teach students Indian currency. Okay, we teach students Indian currency. So let's know first how to formulate learning outcome, because everything is connected with learning outcomes, right? So why do you teach Indian currency, or what a student will be able to do after learning the particular topic Indian currency? Can anybody say? After learning the topic Indian currency, what a student will be able to do? I'm waiting for answers from you, at least 2, 3.
Participants, how they can apply it practically.
They will be able to apply in real life to compare contrast currency value is very good, Sagitya. Apply it in real life, knows the value of money. Mridula Mahajan says calculate, very good, ma'am. Mridula ma'am, namaste. Then okay, understand the denomination, absolutely. Should we change the criteria if the students are not come up to the level? We will come to that. Questions I will take at last, please. Okay. Conversion, very good. Value of Indian currency, international trade, very good, very good. Okay, let's see it from. Thank you all. Let's see it from the perspective of a third standard child. Okay, what I will formulate the learning outcomes of that topic. The first one will be students will be able to identify different denominations of Indian currency, right? And students will be able to do basic operations of mathematics by using Indian currency. As all of you said, students will be able to use Indian currency in real life situation. Let's, for the time being, these are the 4 learning outcomes for us. Okay, these are the 4 learning outcomes for us. So what we need to do, we need to check after teaching learning process whether these outcomes are achieved by students. You need to go for an assessment for that. So let's plan an assessment for learning. I mean an assessment. What is assessment for learning? An assessment which is taken place at the time of learning. So after the introductory part, what we can do, we can go for a simulation. Experiential learning, I am talking about experiential learning. Pedagogy is our experiential learning. What is the approach? That is simulation. What you are going to do, because you are going to give an artificial environment in the classroom where students get the real feeling of a grocery shop. Clear? You will make the students to grow and you will familiarize with denominators and all. You will demonstrate all those things. After that, they are doing an activity. What is the activity? It's a simulation of a grocery shop. Now look, what is your idea? You need to assess these children when they do it. It's an example for assessment for learning. Clear? Formative assessment. What you need to do, you see, you must have criteria and rubrics for assessment. And for the assessment, what we are planning is assessment for learning. So what could be the criteria here? Can anybody say? We need to see what I said in the beginning. The criteria must be in line with our learning outcome. It must be related to the learning outcome. Why? Because assessment is for that, to check whether learning outcome have been achieved. So what could be the criteria? Just think. Let's fix criteria first. What are the learning outcome? I told first would excellent Vaishnavi Swedaji. First would be identification. identification of different denominations. That is the first criteria. Identification, that's a denomination. Denomination identify. Very good, Shaniji. Very good. That is our first criterion. What could be the second one? What was the second one? What was the second one? That means add and subtract, multiply, everything. Basic operations of mathematics. That is the second one. Basic operation of mathematics is the second one. Then third one, maybe you can think about now bringing 21st century skills. The skills taught here. You can think about critical thinking, ability of decision making. Okay, for that you need critical thinking and creative thinking, problem solving abilities. So that could be the third and fourth of the criteria. Now let's see the first one now. Okay, let's see the first one now. Identification of denomination. Hello, okay. Some problem with me here.
No, sir, you are clear.
Okay. So what is the first criterion? What is the first criterion? You have already told.
Identification.
Identification. Okay, that is the criteria. Now let's think about rubrics now. If you are giving 4 marks to that particular criterion, what are the rubrics for that? Just think. When will you give 4 out of 4? That is your first rubrics. What are the descriptors you will write? Think. What could be? When can you give 4 out of 4? For that, what would be the criteria? So that if somebody asks, okay, my student gets only 8 marks in this activity or maybe in this assessment, whereas the other student got 10 out of 10, why has it happened? Then you must be able to tell it very clearly, the difference. For that, the criteria, rubrics will help you. Now let's make rubrics for this first criterion. Think. I'm not getting answer. Sorry, you have given some. How many denominations are there? Okay, good. When child identify denominations to make, okay. 1 mark for identification. No, not like that, Saraswati. No, not like that. We have 3 or 4 different criteria. Each criterion are divided. Okay, not divided. In fact, if the levels of that marks are given, they are rubrics. Okay, identify paise to identify 5 rupee, 10 rupee, like that. Very good. Very good now. Smoother. Time. Handling of money. Okay, you are almost to the point. Pile G, when they will identify all currencies which we thought. Absolutely right, Pile G. That is the real one. So, what will be the description for identifying? Hello. What would be the description you will give for the first criteria, that is excellent? Sorry, first rubric, that is excellent. When a student is able to identify all the denominations we give 4 out of 4. Okay, identifying all the denominations, that is 4 out of 4. Then you will give 3 marks. When will you give 3 marks? When you see a student is able to identify only 80% of the denominations. Then when will you give 2 marks? When a student is able to identify only 2 marks. Sorry, 50% of the denominations. I hope this point is clear to you now. Then now let's move to the second. Okay, now let's move to the second of the criteria. What is the second criterion? The second criterion is basic operations. So when will you give full marks? Operation. When will you give full marks? If a student is able to do all the 4 operations of mathematics, basic operation, I mean addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division by using Indian currency, because they are going to a shop. Okay, what is our activity, simulation activity? We tell them, okay, every group is given 1,000 rupees. Look now. What is the activity? You know, every group is given 1,000 rupees. And you are asking them to purchase 5 items by exactly using 1,000 rupees. Is it clear to you? So every group has 1,000 rupees. In fact, I forgot to tell you in the beginning. Every group has 1,000 rupees. In that 1,000 rupees, all denominations are there. Okay, it has 1 rupee, it has 2 rupee. I mean, everything is there. All denominations are there in that 5 rupees. And what we are telling them, they need to purchase 5 items by exactly using 1,000 rupees. Then these are our criteria. What is the first criteria? Identification. So you will observe children, whether they are able to identify when they count, whether they need to count, right? They need to add sometimes, they need to subtract sometimes. So you observe all those things when they purchase the things. Are you getting my point? Right? Then they need to take decisions. That also you observe, whether they are, the students are able to purchase 5 items exactly by using 1,000 rupees. Then again, the third one, decision making. Your third criteria is decision making. There you give 4 out of 4. Without any problem, they are able to purchase it. Or they are unable, they have some kind of confusion, not able to purchase 5 items, maybe they are coming with 4 items, then you will give the 3 marks. Like this, we are making rubrics. Is it clear to you, participants? I repeat. See, when we make criteria, these criteria must be linked with our learning outcome, because the purpose of assessment is to check whether learning outcomes have been achieved. When we assess, what we look at it, we need to see that this, with the proper criteria, we are able to assess a child. And each criterion, the levels of marks, right, they are divided by using rubrics. In other words, you can say, what is excellent? Maybe 4 marks for that one. What is that 4 marks? That we are, writing very clearly. Description is given for that one. That is first rubrics. That is your excellent 4 marks. Then what is the difference when it comes to very good? Maybe you are giving 3 marks. Then what is that difference from that 4 marks to 3 marks? This you are giving. This is what is rubrics. I hope this point is clear to everybody. Anyone has any doubt? I'll give more examples now. I'm just waiting. Exactly. And das. It is clear, very clear. Thank you very much, Payal. Okay. So now I'll give rubrics for role play. You know, role play, it can be used as an experiential learning activity again. Okay. And even as an art integrated activity, you can use role play. The role play can be used for all the subjects. Okay, all the subjects, it can be used for all the subjects. Now, I'm not giving you any specific, criteria and rubrics. I'm generalizing. I'll tell you for integrated projects also, I'll tell. Okay, I'll tell you that. Questions you please ask me when I give time, then one by one I can. Script and performance. Now look now, very good. Look now. Look, common. Okay, I'm going for general criteria and rubrics. Preparedness and content knowledge. That is our criteria. Maybe you can write script writing there. Absolutely no problem. Vocabulary will come. Okay. Look now. What is excellent or 4 marks? Demonstrates deep understanding of the role and context, flawlessly integrating knowledge. Now, if it is an English based on English story or English lesson, all the new words have been included in the script. You can add even all the new structure of grammar are used in dialogues. Maybe you can add in excellent. Okay, you can add it excellent. Is it clear? Now, good. That is 3 marks. Shows good understanding. There it was deep understanding means absolutely they are not making any mistakes at all. Then you give 4 out of 4. Clear? Then come to the next one. Next criteria: communication and interpersonal skills. Communicates effectively with exceptional clarity, active listening, and strong responsiveness. I tell you one thing, according to the topic, we need to give specific description. Clear? Here I am generalizing and giving. When we discussed T, it was very specific. When I gave the example of Indian currency, the criteria and rubrics were very specific. Here am I giving you only general criteria because based on this, because a role play can be used for all the subjects. So accordingly, you will make the changes. But basically, these are the things, or these are criteria. And role play will be assessed based on these criteria and the rubrics, general rubrics. Here, according to your subjects, you make the necessary changes. I hope this point is clear to you what I meant. And communication and interpersonal skills. This is very, very important. Collaboration and teamwork. For all the activities, we need to see that, especially, okay, when it comes to middle classes and all, they need to work in groups. They need to see that collaboration is taken place. Teamwork is promoted. That's why collaborate seamlessly with peers, supporting and building upon their ideas while making the script and also during the performance. Clear? You will observe again this, how well they are doing it. Are they exchanging the ideas? Are they accepting it? That is collaboration and teamwork. Look now, creativity and originality. Demonstrate exceptional creativity in role play, introducing unique and innovative ideas. For example, let's take an example of a story. Okay, example of a story. When students make script, here you can be very specific. How? You give them a condition. They can do 2 things. One is this: they can extend the story. They can extend the story, or they can go for a different end of the story, and even they can add 1 or 2 more characters. So these conditions you have given already, and if they do it properly, okay, they are giving different end, and that the creativity. They are extending the story. They need creativity. They are bringing 1 or 2 more characters to the story. They need creativity. Just see these actions are, I mean, taking place or not. Whether they use the creativity, okay, without losing the originality. For language, this can be easily assessed. I hope this point is very clear to you. Okay. Then this is also very important: time management. There also you have to give time. See, when you need to see that, okay, when they make the script, that script, okay, they may take some time. Okay, you give some time for them. Initially, maybe you give 2 hours or 3 hours. I don't know, depends upon the length of the story. But however, what you need to give the condition that role play must be completed maybe in 20 minutes. They need to make the adjustment without losing the originality. So within that time period, they have to do the things that we have to promote. We have to give them opportunities. We have to correct them. Is it clear to you? So this manages time effectively. What is that manages time effectively? For that, initially you will give instructions. What are you really looking at? Clear? Now look, once again I will go through this one. Preparation and content knowledge. And what you can do here, you can write script writing also, no problem. Preparation of script you can write, no problem. For English or language role plays. Then communicate interpersonal skills. The collaboration and teamwork and creativity and originality, time management. Right? Now look, another one. I'll give an example from a science assignment, from matter. Content understanding, that is the first one. This is we are using for a written assignment. Please understand. The examples what I gave earlier, everything for assessment for learning time. While doing activity, while performing role play, we assess them. While doing a simulation, we assess them. But here, it is for written assignment. So please understand, we need to make criteria and rubrics for written assignments as well. When they write an essay or maybe some other assignments, written assignment, everywhere this is applicable. You must communicate with them. You must tell them in advance. These are the criteria. This is the way the written assignment is going to be assessed. So let's see now. It's based on a chapter meta. Okay. What is the first criteria? Content understanding. Look here. What is excellent? This is our rubrics. First rubrics you can say in other words. Excellent. Okay. These are description. This one told. What is 4 marks? Okay. How 4 marks are awarded? What are the parameters or yardsticks we use for giving 4 marks? Clear? Look now. Demonstrates a comprehensive understanding of matter, including its properties, states, and changes. Presents accurate and relevant information with excellent elaboration. Right? That is 4 marks. Then we are writing, okay, what is 3 marks? That is rating scale, you can say this one. Excellent, good, satisfactory, need improvement. Shows a good understanding of matter because they are not giving the 100% answer. Maybe here, excellent, 100%. Good, 80%. Okay, so we are clearly describing what is 4 marks. For that, how many points are to be there? Clear? Then what is 3 marks? This is your rubrics. Look at the second one. Organization and structure. Presents information in a well-structured and logical manner with clear headings, subheadings, and proper introduction and conclusion. This organization we use for everything, even for a speech also. Well-organized speech. What do you mean by that? Because it has proper beginning, introduction, and in middle part, whatever the points stated in the introduction, those are explained in the subsequent paragraph. Then it is concluded properly. Then we say it's an organized way of speech, or when they write an essay also, proper introduction, and in subsequent paragraph, those ideas are explained and they are concluded, proper conclusion. Then it's organized. So every written assignment must have organizational proper structure. That is what. Clear? So what is we are giving clear-cut idea about excellent, what is excellent, or what is 4 marks, or what is 5 marks, then it is diminishing. Okay. From the first rubrics, the second one, it has only 80% of the quality what we expected. Clear? Look now. Scientific language and accuracy, because it's a science written assignment. If it is language, we say language and accuracy. There we use scientific terminology accurately throughout the assignment because it is scientific one. Provides precise definitions when necessary. Demonstrates a strong command of scientific language. So if it is like a language one, here you will change it. Okay, you will talk about the proper words, you will talk about grammar, okay, then clarity and readability. Expresses ideas clearly and concisely. Writing is easy to read and understand. Sentences and paragraphs are well constructed and well connected. So clarity and readability. Look now, visual presentation, because it's a science. Okay, it's a science written assignment. They are supposed to, you need to say this also, they are supposed to use visual aids I mean, diagrams, graphs, some images to enhance the presentation of information. Visuals are clear, labeled, and relevant. That means it's a proper written assessment. I hope this is clear to you now. What criteria of science written assignment, the content understanding, organization. You can add, okay, maybe punctuality as a criteria you can bring. Marking of locate also need accuracy. Okay. Now let's move to another example for a social studies debate. Now, for social studies debate, content knowledge demonstrates a deep understanding of the social studies topics and relevant facts, statistics, and historical evidence. Here, you know, I have told you already, I'm just generalizing and giving you now. But let's take, okay, democracy. That could be a topic for debate. Then we have to give the real points about democracy. What is democracy, right? So there could be in the test book, maybe there could be some 5 or 6 points about democracy advantages. Or there could be, they have learned monarchy also, because in debate, one group is always for and one group is always against. So you divide them into groups. And when they come, they have to do the homework for the content knowledge. And you know, okay, these are the main points. So when they give the debate, I will present the debate, what will be the content knowledge? All those points related to that particular topic must be told, must be communicated, must be discussed. Clear? Then only we will give 4 out of 4 or maybe 5 out of 5. You can go with, see the very example what I have shown, it has only 4 rubrics. You can even go with 5 also. You can go with excellent, very good, then good, then satisfactory, needs improvement. Like that way you can make even 5 rubrics also. Even in some of the cases you can even go with 2 rubrics in the same activity. You can even go with some of the criteria. You are going with 5 rubrics, and maybe one criterion you are going with 2 rubrics. Maybe the punctuality. You have only 2 things, whether they submitted on time, then you have only 2 rubrics there. 2 marks you are giving. So like that also you can decide it. Yes, you can decide value points for each criteria. Clear now? Okay, now let's come to the debate again. Debate, you see, you can use everywhere, especially in language. Language, okay, you are teaching poetry. From that one, you are taking a point. Maybe you are taking not taken. Then you can go with the importance of right decisions. Somebody says, okay, decision doesn't make any difference in life. One group. Another group said, no, you need to take proper decision, right decision at the right time. That is success mantra. So you are making it into 2 groups. Then things are changed. Here, content knowledge is changed according to that. Is it clear to you? Maybe you are talking about nuclear energy. Whether nuclear energy is good for human being or not. Somebody says nuclear energy is essential. Somebody says it is dangerous. Then the content knowledge will be changed there accordingly. So according to the topic, according to the subject, you need to change it specifically. This is okay. This is not specific part. That's what I take time for explaining these things. Now look now, use of evidence and examples. Presents compelling evidence and uses relevant examples to support arguments effectively. Evidence is accurate and well researched. Clear? Now look at the next one. Critical thinking and analysis. See, if you want to justify your point, you need to think critically. Demonstrates critical thinking by analyzing the topic thoroughly, offering insightful perspectives, and making logical connections. These are also important. Then even for a debate also, organizational structure presents. I'll come to that. You are asking many questions. Let me complete. This is the last example. After this, I will take your questions one by one. You may have to repeat the questions or maybe moderators.
Sir, yes, sir. I have noted down the questions.
then you
Participants
can
are requested to refrain from asking questions now.
Yeah,
Please hold on. Please hold on. Thank you so much.
Okay. So then the organizational structure presents arguments in a well-organized and logical manner. Debaters stay on topic and smoothly transition between points. That is the organizational structure for a debate. Look now, communication and delivery. Communicates ideas effectively using clear and persuasive language. How good at you are pursuing someone. Right? Then engages the audience with confident and dynamic delivery. You are connecting with the audience also. That's very, very important in a debate. Then rebuttal and counter arguments. And this is a special criterion, you can say, unique criterion for debate. Without rebuttal, a debate is never over. So you are arguing, but your argument will never hurt others' feeling. But you have, that's what you provide strong rebuttals to opponents' arguments effectively, countering their points with well-supported responses without losing your temper. Very, very important. That is what is the real rebuttal is all about. You don't lose your temper. You don't shout there. The way we see on television channels. Okay, we don't shout there. And your students, they counter others' argument by giving proper examples. Okay, that is what is the real rebuttal. Clear? So this is one of the important criteria of debate. Now collaboration, teamwork, 21st century skills, very, very important. Works collaboratively with the team members, coordinating arguments effectively, using each member's strength, giving room for, that is not written here, giving room for everybody. Okay, accommodate everybody and everybody gets a chance to, air their views. That is what is all about collaboration. Then of course, time management. Manages time effectively, staying within the allotted time frame. Okay, half an hour is the time. Within that half an hour, 20 minutes are given. Within that 20 minutes, all the points must be discussed because we are giving them a topic. Okay, these are the points to be discussed there. Even you will share those things with them in the beginning. Then how effectively they are put forward it. Okay, how effectively they are able to put forward their idea that is discussed. That is assessed. So by using this criteria and rubrics, I hope you have understood now what are criteria, how criteria are specifically made. Okay, that's very, very important. I showed most of these examples are general examples, right? But how these are specifically made, I gave 2 examples in the beginning. One is making tea. Just always remember that, very easy. What are the criteria? Then how each mark is divided. And then what is the advantage? You will be able to give specific feedback. Okay, where the child needs to work more, what are the strengths of the child, what are the weaknesses of the child. Then you can specifically give feedback. That's very, very important. Okay, remedial teaching is all about that. We find out the reasons and we train them so that they attain the learning outcomes. So when we give them that proper feedback or specific feedback, these are the areas you need to improve. So for that, these are the things you need to do. This is possible when you have proper criteria and rubrics. So now I'll take your questions. Okay, now I'll take your questions.
Thank you so much, Dinesh sir.
Okay.
Participants are requested to, sir, if you could stop sharing your screen, we'll be able to see our participants raise their hands. Participants are requested to raise their hands. We'll unmute you. In the meanwhile, sir, there were a few questions on the chat box. Would you like to take them up right now or after you interact?
You decide. You are the moderator.
So I believe we can have live questions now, and then anything is missing out, then we can have the ones which were put up on the chat box. Mr. Deepesh Jain, you can unmute yourself and you can ask your question. Mr. Deepesh Jain.
I was audible throughout. Okay, I felt some kind of connectivity problem. That's why.
So you were, there were issues in the middle, but then you were clear later on, sir.
Okay, okay.
Miss Smita, you can go ahead with your question. Can you unmute yourself?
Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
yes, ma'am, please. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, sir. Good evening to all the other attendees. One question, sir. When we are handling smaller classes, many a times when they give replies, when they give responses, answers, they are very short one-word answers. Like if I ask them a question and I want an answer in a complete sentence, I set rubrics for a complete answer, and I get only one word answer. Maybe that is the key word. How can I award marks there? Like, am I not in a difficult position to
Can you give
assess?
a specific example?
Like, for example, if I ask them a question, say pertaining to a story, like I tell them a story about a girl in the garden growing flowers or something like that, and then I ask them, what does a girl do for a living? And the girl grows flowers for a living, or the girl sells flowers for a living. Now, instead of that, that's a complete answer. Supposing a first standard or a second grader child writes, sells flowers maybe only. So in that case, does that rubric help?
No, rubric, in that case, these are all one sentence answers we expect. Comprehension part. This is comprehension part. Okay, because you are giving a passage based on the passage. Student, you are just telling, and based on the listening, they are giving you answer. Am I right or not?
But yes, I take a lesson, and based on that lesson, I'm giving questions to them.
Yeah. There you don't have many rubrics. You have only one answer. You expect only one answer. There are not many rubrics for this answer. Yes or no? Let's see, when we make rubrics, we have different levels there. Here your answer is one sentence answer. If the student gives that idea, maybe you don't give full marks. However, why you need to check, what is the root cause of, I mean, the child giving answer like this. Why the child is unable to give an answer in full sentence? What are the reasons for that one? So that is the real purpose of the assessment. Instead of giving marks, that's okay, that's fine. But at the end of the day, you need to find out the root cause so that you can go for remedial teaching. Are you getting my point?
Okay. No, but the problem is sometimes children, they know, they have understood the topic or the concept or the point, and they know it, but then they can't word it out in a proper, like put it out in a proper sentence. Okay, so there, should I give marks for that one word keyword answer, or should I not?
You can give marks, absolutely no problem, because in the sentence is not, you are talking about first standard child, right?
First and second graders mostly.
You can. See more than awarding marks, what is important to find out the cause for gap and initiate remedial teaching. That's more important. That is the real purpose. That is the real purpose of assessment, See, we are all obsessed with marks. The problem is in the end, we are obsessed with marks. But instead of that, okay, the student got some idea, but the student is unable to express those in a complete sentence. See, we need to see the assessment. I need to say that assessment is an opportunity for the teachers also to reflect.
Okay.
Teachers also to reflect. Maybe for few children, sometimes we have to change the style of teaching sometimes.
Right.
Okay, so that could be the reason of our teaching style doesn't match with the learning style of the learner. So awarding marks is secondary. Okay, but what is more important? Children, okay, maybe first standard that may not work out that much, but it may be in middle classes and all. This criteria and rubrics are shared with children, so they are aware of the learning outcome. Then they know they get an opportunity for demonstrating their learning outcome. That time they are going to be assessed in this way. So these are the parameters, these are the criteria or rubrics for that one. So I need to perform in this way. Then after the assessment, you find a gap, then you can specifically give a feedback to the child. Okay, you should have done this. Okay, instead of that, you have done like this. But then it will work out. I hope I have answered.
Right, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Miss Sali Madhuram, am I getting your name right? You can unmute yourself. You can unmute yourself and you can ask your question. Miss Mr. Sali Madhuram, are you able to do it? Yes, ma'am. Are you able to do so? Hello. So in the meanwhile, if you could take one question from the chat box.
Yeah.
I believe you had answered it, but there's no harm, I believe, in once. But should we make the rubrics clear to the students before the assessment process?
We are supposed to, we must do it.
Okay, and one of the, okay. And should the rubrics be changed if students do not meet the expectations?
It is not the change of rubrics to change, you know, we need to find, as I have already said, we need to find out the reason for that one. It's not that, you know, if somebody is unable to do something, we need to find out the reason for that one.
Correct, very true.
Even in our inclusive education, we don't dilute the assessments. We don't dilute the assessments. Assessments are same. Maybe they are given extra time. They are provided with a scribe, but the assessment is same.
Very, very true. So another question we had was, how do we make common rubrics for integrated projects?
Common rubrics, you know, see that's what, you know. For example, you are making students to do a project, maybe physics project. In that one, we could go for 5 different criteria. For example, you are making the students to go for a survey in maybe 3 or 4 houses in their neighborhood, and they are comparing the electricity bill of these houses. And the objective of doing this project is to find out the reason for the high level of electricity bill and how this can be reduced. Clear? So taking reading, all those things, you know, that criteria, I mean, the particular criterion comes under physics. Maybe based on that one, they are making a bar diagram, comparison study, you know, bar diagram. So that is mathematics. How this the ability of the students to convert these readings to a bar diagram. That is this one. I mean, mathematics. And language, when it comes to language, what they can do, see, they need to prepare questionnaires. Okay, so the preparation of questionnaire, that maybe you can go with the more rubrics there. More rubrics, I mean, the description there. The questions are apt, the apt, I mean, right words are used for that, but grammatically there are no, I mean, no mistakes. Like, so this is for language. And even they can perform a skit based on all this experience. There again, on their presentation style, communication style, everything can be brought. So this is the way integrated project can be assessed. And
thank you very much.
Explanation what I gave, they can make the rubrics. I just gave a very brief idea, but I got
yes.
You got the thread.
Yes, sir. So I believe our educators' doubt was clear. We had one question. What should be the scheme of mark deduction? That was the specific word used. Mark deduction in English language. What should be the scheme of mark deduction in English language?
Then see, when we define the rubrics, in that we have clearly mentioned, see, all the new words are to be used. Or the grammar, the structure of grammar must be used. So whether in the script writing, if they are deviating from this one, I mean, they haven't used all the new words, you will detect marks there. And when it comes to presentation, grammatical error is coming, then you will detect marks there. But it must be based on the specific reasons, not randomly. Why you can reduce particular mark? Because you have defined your rubrics, even for a written essay also. Okay, that content must be there. You know, okay, there are 6 points to be expressed there, right? And it must have a proper introduction. So you find, okay, in the introduction, all the points are not given in the introduction. And in subsequent paragraph, that means, okay, that should be 6 points, but whereas only 4 are there. That means definitely you are giving for introduction, maybe you are giving 4 marks. So you will give only 2 or 3 marks there. Then the subsequent paragraph, those are to be explained. There also that explanation points are there. Maybe 2 points for the first one. If those are not followed, you will deduct the marks.
Okay, understood.
For each grammatical error, maybe you say 1/8. If they make 8 error, you are going to reduce 8 marks. But this must be communicated to children very clearly.
Very true, sir.
I hope I answered.
Yes, sir. Ms. Smita, can you unmute yourself?
Yes. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
So one more question.
Yeah.
Sir said in a previous question, sir said that the rubrics, the assessment criterion can be explained to the students.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
they can be made aware of what points we are looking for and how we will be awarding the marks. Now, a question again comes. At what grade should we start applying the rubrics? Can we do it from first standard, or should we start doing it from the middle classes? Like
there is no hard and fast rule. It should not be started from first standard. Wherever you see, I gave the example of mathematics from 3rd standard. And that was from 3rd standard. Even from first standard also. See,
sorry for interrupting you.
Even they are reciting a poem. First standard, they are reciting a poem. Okay. So see, when the student recites a poem, what should be the criteria you are looking at? Maybe the student must be able to recite the poem rhythmically. Okay. So if the student maintains that rhythm throughout, that means you are giving maybe 4 out of 4. That is where rubrics. Okay, only 80% area the student maintains the proper rhythm or intonation, then you are giving. So that also you can say, and you need to recite it and show this is the way it must be done. Then you will get this is what we are looking at. Don't talk about marks now. It's in the holistic progress card and all, there will not be any marks. It will be observation only. Okay, it will be observation only. Let's forget marks now, right? Because the very idea of assessment is to find out the learning gaps and we initiate remedial teaching, so that there are no gaps. Every learner achieves learning outcome. This is our idea. So for checking that only, we observe children. When the holistic progress cards are introduced, we will not have marks sometimes. But we have observation schedule. Descriptors are there, and each descriptor must be observed. Okay, that yes or no. This much only we will write. Are you getting me? So it could be started from even from KG also. In a particular situation, how a child is going to behave.
Okay.
Okay.
No, but sir, there, what I wish to clarify is, at that stage, smaller classes, we cannot tell them the criterion there. Rather, we can just show them how it is to be done and get the output from them.
Exactly. But we also need to use our creativity and critical thinking here also wherever it is possible. Always, we must have an thinking in this perspective. Is it possible to go for rubrics here? Is it possible to go for more criteria here? Then if I make the criteria, how I will make rubrics, and if I explain, will my children matured enough to realize those things, understand those things? This is the way a teacher always keeps thinking and demonstrate also. Now, especially in lower classes, you demonstrate those things. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So do we have any more questions? We are ready to take them. If not, sir, Kalam sir, maybe wind up if you don't have any more questions.
Yes, of course.
So participants, anyone for any more questions, or we are ready to wind up? Sunita ma'am, we have one Sunita ma'am. Sunita ma'am, could you please unmute yourself? We have time for one more question. Sunita ma'am, please unmute yourself. Yes,
गुड इवनिंग ऑल ऑफ यू।
yes ma'am.
मेरी आवाज आ रही है?
हाँ जी आ रही है, प्लीज बोलिए।
हाँ सर, मेरा ये सवाल है कि जब कक्षा फर्स्ट और सेकंड, दूसरी और पहली के लिए हम वाचन कंपटीशन या प्रतियोगिता रख सकते हैं क्या, और उसके लिए क्या क्राइटेरिया रख सकते हैं? वाचन, रीडिंग कंपटीशन।
रीडिंग कंपटीशन।
रीडिंग कॉम्पिटिशन तो देख सकते हैं, आपको उसमें से कोई तकलीफ नहीं है। रीडिंग में क्या क्या देखना चाहते हो?
हाँ, तो क्राइटेरिया क्या रख सकते हैं?
रीडिंग में क्राइटेरिया ये है 1 मिनट में कितना, मतलब हाउ मेनी वर्ड a child is able to read in a minute,
कितना लाइंस पढ़ सकता है।
that could be one of the criteria, right? And then if the child is able to read with meaning, okay, that's
yes.
reading. So in FLN, these things are very clearly told. Foundational literacy and numeracy, it is very clearly told. You don't go for competition. Competition is a wrong word, in fact, right? You need to give opportunity for students to demonstrate their learning. For demonstrating, you are giving chance. They are reading, and you can assess children based on this one. So it is clearly given in our foundational literacy documents. Reading is must. Okay, reading, the speed of reading, reading with meaning, and in between reading also you can even ask some critical questions, that allow the students to develop critical thinking.
Yes, sir.
न्यू वे आप ये आपका लाइफ में ये कहाँ इस्तेमाल करेंगे, एक सेंटेंस आपको बता सकते हो ये वर्ड यूज करके। These are all coming under reading.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. ठीक है, sir. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you, Sunita ma'am. So, ma'am, so with that, we would like to wind up the session. Our chat box is full with messages expressing their gratitude. Our educators have come up enriched from this session. Thank you very much for that. And now it's time for me to propose the vote of thanks, and I consider that a privilege, sir. Dinesh sir, as usual, the session was an amazing one. Thank you so much for it. And the takeaways that I have got, most important takeaway for me is how much of planning goes into the whole process of preparing of rubrics, and how we can't take the whole process in a light way or even frivolously. Teachers have to be really well prepared and well planned. And that's one major takeaway for me. Thank you so much for that. With participants, please note that the feedback and the certificate link has already been posted. And please you can fill up the form and you can make the payment and get the certificate. So as we come to the end of today's session, I begin by thanking our esteemed resource person for today, Dr. M. Dinesh Babu, for conducting such a wonderful session. Sir, we have all gained a lot more knowledge and insight with respect to planning and designing good rubrics while keeping in mind the holistic assessment as required by NEP 2020. My humble thanks and gratitude to our program director, Dr. Abdul Salam, for yet another opportunity to work for BTAG and Bharat Sahodaya, and for his unparalleled support and guidance. Thank you, sir. A special thanks to Biju sir for gracing this occasion with his presence. And as usual, a big round of applause for our technical team for today, Mr. Arun Mohan. He works tirelessly behind the scenes for the flawless execution of all the BTAG web training sessions. Thank you so much, Arun sir, for that. Last but not the least, a big thank you to each and every participant who was present for today's session. Our children are truly blessed to have educators who are so very eager to learn and empower themselves. I now request Dr. Abdul Salam to kindly wind up the session. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Sarita ma'am. As usual, it was a tremendous support to BTAG.
Thank you, sir. My privilege.
Traveling along with us, and thank you so much, Dr. Dinesh Babu. It was a serious learning taking place, and thank you so much for your time. And all the participants are very happy about rubrics, making rubrics, and the criteria. But still, they may have they have to work on. Then only they will get a clear idea. They may have many more questions and doubts and all. Once they start working, then it is very easy. Only thing is participants set the learning outcome first, then go to the criteria, then you can see how it works. It all depends upon what learning outcome you are looking for. Am I right, sir? Dinesh, sir?
Exactly, sir. Exactly.
Yes. So thank you so much, sir. We are very glad to meet you back on this platform after 6 months, I believe. Now this is the 7th month. Yeah, thank you so much. And we have to associate once again, or many more sessions. And I know you are, busy with a lot of things, back-to-back sessions and all. Thank you so much. The evening was so meaningful, so significant because of your presence and your deliverance. And as usual, Arun Mohan sir, keep experimenting. It works very well. Thank you so much, everyone, and all participants, and Biju sir especially. Okay, we'll meet again. Thank you so much, sir. Sarita ma'am, good night.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Good night, everyone. Dinesh sir, thank you once again.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Recording is stopped.